Hi everyone, welcome to the CloudHired. In this session, I'm going to explain real interview questions and answers for the senior DevOps engineer and the platform as a service or OpenShift administration role. This is asked in DBS Bank Singapore and also many other banks also commonly asked questions, and this is very important. I'm not only read the answers and but also explain each and every concept is very important, and you can understand and confidently answer in your interview. First, let's say um, we going to discuss about how OpenShift network is working and CNI routes and traffic and troubleshooting. The first question, very first question, like which CNI is used in OpenShift cluster? Here, CNI means um, container network interface. Here CNI means container network interface. See, so in OpenShift 4.x, the default CNI is OVN Kubernetes. It's a built on top of the open vSwitch. vSwitch means that is actually and it's a open vSwitch and provides advanced networking capabilities like networking policies, egress IPs, and dual stack support. Dual stack support means here like IPv4 and IPv6. If you want to check which CNI in your cluster is using, you can run this command. So here, if you run this command, you can easily understand which CNI using in your cluster. This will usually show the OVN Kubernetes because see why it's saying dual stack means earlier OpenShift SDN software design defined network was used because that one that's very old, and also that's not a dual stack support. That's only will support IP primary will support IPv4 only, not IPv6, and also not not like it's like a very legacy, like when you're going to people are using like monolithic application and legacy applications. So SDN that's very old version. So instead of this, that was replaced into, but now the replaced one OVN Kubernetes as replaced in because the better scalability and performance. So earlier they have used SDN. Now people are using OVN Kubernetes. This is very latest, and by default people are using. And the second one, why not use Calico or OpenShift SDN? Good question. OpenShift SDN is OpenShift. Sorry. It, okay, here OpenShift SDN is now deprecated and Calico. Through the popular in vanilla Kubernetes is not only certified by Red Hat for enterprise OpenShift cluster, OVN Kubernetes integrates tightly with OpenShift API, ingress controller, and supports the advanced networking policy. In OVN Kubernetes means this one tightly. That means if you want to use the particular very strict like control networking policies, and also control ingress controllers or going outgoing controllers like inbound and whatever it is, if you want to application make it very strictly, you have to definitely you need to go OVN architecture. See, which is critical for enterprise grade environment like the banks and any financial applications. So definitely you have to go for the OVN architecture. And does everyone cluster have CN? They definitely. See, without CNA part to part communication, part to service communication, it won't function. So every Kubernetes or OpenShift cluster needs a CN plugin. Without this, part no part to service communication does not happen. CN is container network interface is the backbone of the internal networking inside the cluster. Okay. So next go. If someone trying to reach the container from the network, how to troubleshoot it? So this is very practical interview scenario. You can follow the steps. Say first you have to get the pod IPs and service using OC get pods hyphen o void and OC get SVC. That means it gives the IP addresses. So next check if there is any networking policies blocking traffic using OC get network policies. Okay, OC get network policies. Then you can test DNS inside the pod using like exec hyphen it means execute command and hyphen ns lookups. And so finally check the logs also for OVN Kubernetes. OC logs hyphen N OP OpenShift hyphen OVN hyphen Kubernetes. So this is the command to check the complete OVN Kubernetes CNA details. So there you can find what are the things are blocking. So this gives you full path from the client to pod, and also you can find the where the traffic is blocked. Okay, how does the traffic system in your OpenShift? This traffic path is like OpenShift looks like client to load balancer to ingress control, and ingress control to service to pod. See, the load balancer could be F5 or HA proxy. Then the ingress controller, which is also HA proxy inside the OpenShift, handles the routing to service and pods. OVN Kubernetes handles the pod to pod communication internally. Okay. See here, ingress manage the HTTP and HTTPS traffic routes to expose apps externally via DNS. See here, HTTP and HTTPS. It's because this is actually uh yeah HTTP and HTTPS it can handle on prime. What are the concept of load balancer? See here, uh, when on-prem UPI deployment, load balancers are manually configured. We usually use F5 or HA proxy for load balancing API traffic. So here there is a domain like API OCP.dbs like local colon 6443 and 443. So these are the application traffic. This provides high availability and ensures that requests are distributed evenly across the master and worker nodes. Which ingress controller which ingress controller used in open see here you can ingress means incoming, eg egress means outgoing. Okay, see OpenShift comes with the default HA proxy based ingress controller managed by the ingress operator. You can find it under the namespace like OpenShift hyphen ingress. This ingress controller is responsible for routing external traffic to internal service and can be customized via CRDS for things like TLS, routing, standing, and load balance behavior. Next, storage. Here, okay, and also and also how OpenShift route work. Okay, OpenShift routes are usually exposed to internal and externally. See, um, sorry. Routes are used to expose service externally, which you create route, it automatically configure the DNS. Okay, when here in the OpenShift class, when you're going to create the route, see it there is the domain network access. So that one maps to service inside the cluster. Okay, the flow, route, service, and pod. This is the flow. You have to open the console, Kubernetes console, then go to the routes and service. Then there you have to mention the domain network access. Then it automatically it automatic enter into the cluster, and the TLS terminals usually happens at the edge of proxy router. So here, but completely it's go under CNI, container network interface. So you can think like of a router as OpenShift equivalent to Kubernetes Ingress, so but more integrated and enterprise ready. Next, storage. Okay. Does Ceph provides object storage? Yes, Ceph is unified storage solution that provides three types of storages. One is the block storage, file storage, and Rados gateway. See, block storage means it's like a RBD block storage for database and persistent value. CephFS. CephFS means it's a file storage for sharing file system. RGW, Rados gateway, which provides S3 compatible object storage. So yes, it supports the object storage similar to the AWS S3. Okay. Yeah, let's say customer needs read many volume. Which one do you propose? Okay. Use CephFS or NFS with read write many node. See here for workloads that requires a multiple pods reading and writing to the same value, you should use CephFS and NFS with read write many like RWX mode. CephFS supports the multiple mounts across the pods and namespaces, which is ideal for sharing application configuration and caching layers. Now, security and admission control. Security admission control. How do you deploy admission control to verify the images? See here use Kyverno and OPA gatekeeper. See here in OpenShift we can use Kyverno and OPA gatekeeper as a admission control. For example, if you want to allow the internal image from Harbor, you can create policy that validate the image name pattern something like this. This is the pattern only. This is the pattern only you have to create. So this block only. This is the block. This is the block. Any image coming from the public registry like Docker Hub, which is commonly security control and financial institutions. How does next how webhook works in OpenShift? See here, a muting webhook interrupts like request to the API server before stored in etcd. It can be modified or add data. For example, adding a sidecar container, a validating webhook on the right hand, just to validate a request. You can list them like OCGet mutating webhook configuration or OCGet validating webhook configuration. Okay, pod access. Suppose the pod is hacked, do you resolve it? See, if pod is hacked, how do you resolve it? So, in this incident, here what you should do, quarantine the namespaces immediately, capture the logs, evidence for analysis, and rotate the all secrets involved, and block the compromised image digestion ACS. Advanced cluster service. Sorry. And block the compromised image digestion ACS. Patch and redeploy the workload through the CI/CD. This ensure you isolate and contain and remediate the threat while maintaining the compliance. Okay, cluster basics management. How do you? how many default namespaces in Kubernetes? See here by default Kubernetes comes with the namespace like default and kube system, kube public, and OpenShift add many more such as OpenShift ingress, OpenShift monitoring, OpenShift image registry. So and plus and more plus around 40 plus it will be there. Each has dedicated purpose: monitoring and logging, networking, and operator management. These are all things have and okay, which CLI used in OpenShift cluster. Okay, OCCLI. See, this is the main command line to OC, which is the OpenShift client. It basically extends the version of kubectl with extra OpenShift specific features. For example, here if you want to log in the cluster, you have to use this command OC login. After that, you can once you can log in, you can add like OC get nodes, OC get pods. So you can research and you can by using these commands, you can check the all nodes, pods, and any logs or whatever it is. Okay, next automation, provisioning, and platform. See ArgoCD Wets and Jenkins. See here, Jenkins and ArgoCD server different purpose. See, Jenkins and ArgoCD server different purpose in CI/CD pipeline. Jenkins use it to continuous integration, which means building code, running tests, and image pushing container image to registry. Register means you can it can be it, register means you can say if let's say in the Docker Hub and if Azure you can say Azure Container Service. In AWS you can say ECR Elastic Container Service. Okay. Argo CD used to continuous deployment only, which means taking the manifest or Elm charts from the Git and deploying them automated to the OpenShift cluster. Simply see if you want me to explain in very simple words, Jenkins builds and push the images. Argo CD syncs and deploy to the cluster only. Okay, cluster installation and provisioning. So here, how do you provision cluster IP in user provision? Sorry, in infrastructure. See here in the in banking application, mostly people use provision interface UPI method only they will use for OpenShift on VMware vSphere. Here, see first prepare your underlying vSphere infrastructure like create VMs, DNS entries, IP address, and load balancer. Then you can create the install config.yaml file which defines the cluster details like domain and network and pull request. Pull request also here very important. You can note it. Then generate the ignition file using the OpenShift cluster. Sorry, OpenShift installer. Boot up the bootstrap and master and worker nodes with their respective ignition file. Once the bootstrap is complete, approve all pending CSRs and verify the all clusters operators are available. That's how the full on-prem OpenShift cluster provision manually and giving the complete control over the networking, storage, and compliance. Okay, here why it's not possible other install types and why we are sticking to the UPI. Okay, here that means what you understand here. Why use UPI only? Why not IPI? Okay, why people are using user provision infrastructure only? Why people are not using installer provision infrastructure? Here, IPI means installer provision infrastructure where OpenShift installer automatically creates resources like VMS, load balancer, and DNS records for you. But banking and regulated environments automation like IPA can violate the compliance controls because DNS IPs and subnets are tightly managed by the internal team. So that's why banks stick to completely stick to UPI only, because it gives the total over every layer of the setup, from F5 load balancer, DNS entries to IP assignments. Okay, UPI also align with the mass complaints request to the as per the requirement. It will be the UPI method is the best approach, or UPI method is the best approach for the banking application. Okay, what are the like core open source platform tools like ACM, ACS, CSI, and CNI? ACM means advanced cluster management. ACS means uh, um, okay advanced cluster security. And CSI means CS means the container storage service, and CNI means container network interface. See here, I will explain you each and everything. See, ACM is used to manage the multiple OpenShift clusters in like production and development QA environment, like that only it will handle. Like it's like a central hub. It allows to apply the governance policies, deploy the application to multiple clusters, and check the compliance in like in any bank. We can use the ACM, advanced cluster management, to manage the both on-prem clusters and cloud-based clusters like ARO and like Azure, Red Hat, OpenShift. Okay, and yes, yes, advanced cluster security layer for OpenShift. It integrates with the CI/CD pipeline for scan container image for vulnerabilities before deployment, and also monitoring runtime behavior. If the container tries to run the root or execute the suspicious command, ACS will alert and block the. It's like a GuardDuty or for containers. CSI, so container storage interface. Container storage interface standardize how the storage dynamically provisioned in Kubernetes. In OpenShift, we can configure Ceph RBD for block the storage, and CephFS for share the file storage using CSI. CSS containers storage interface. It's a drives actually, CSI drives. So it allows automatic volume creation without manual intervention. Okay, see, what is the CNI? CNI, container network interface. Okay, CNI handle the pod networking inside the cluster. So we use the OVN Kubernetes CNI, which provides overlay networking, egress IPS, and networking policies. It controls how pods communicate securely within the across the namespaces. Okay, and virtualization. KubeVirt, OpenShift. Okay, OpenShift virtualization or KubeVirt lets you run VM inside the OpenShift cluster right alongside the containers. This helps during migration. For example, when legacy apps still need to run on VMs while you modernize to rest into the containers. Okay, see here like we basically like I explained like about the ACM managing clusters and ACS manage secure clusters. Simply ACM is to manage cluster, ACS is to secure clusters, CSI to handle the storage, CNI to handle the networking, and visualization handle the VM. Here, see, simply you can understand that. See here how you can understand. ACM, advanced cluster management, to manage the cluster. ACS, advanced cluster service to secure the cluster. Sorry. ACS, advanced cluster security to secure the clusters. CSI, advanced container storage interface means to handle the storage. CNI, container networking interface means to handle the networking. Visualization means it will handle the VMs only. Okay, so these are the additional stack like infrastructure and Terraform, and these are all how it's going to do. Like Jenkins will do the bull test integration, and CyberArk and credential. Like here, so like see in AWS we are using a secret manager, right? Here we can use the Vault and CyberArk. Okay, like from and Grafana, and so like each and every tool what how it's do what it's doing they have given here, so you can go through these all things. And also here experience in setting up managing OpenShift, this is also one interview questions. You have to explain deployed and upgraded and maintained OpenShift clusters, so OpenShift container platform, and on VMware vSphere, and implemented user provision interface to set up for production only, not for the dev and QA. Ensure full control DNS, load balancer, and security groups. Integrated Active Directory authentications vault for the secret management, and Ceph for the via CSI for the dynamic storage. Designed Designed a cluster architecture covering control plane, compute nodes, and workers and infra nodes within the dedicated role mounting increased registry. Implemented multi-cluster multi-management via Red Hat ACM, Advanced Cluster Management for DR and regional clusters. Third performance and scaled worker nodes dynamically using um, mission set and automated patching via Ansible. Okay. See here I explained each and everything like what about the ACM and ACS and all things earlier. See, okay. See here ACM means managing clusters, and ACS means to secure the cluster. CS means handle the storage, and CNI means handle the networking, and visualization means like handle the like visualization means to visualize means it handle the virtual machines. See each and everything you can go through it and you can handle it. So here by using automation tools like ArgoCD, Ansible, how each and everything will do, I already explained here. And also see the final summary when you're going to do the starting intro, just you can explain at the DBS I have deployed and managed on-prem OpenShift cluster on VMware using UPI method for production grade control and compliance. Networking uses OVN-Kubernetes CNI, and storage is via CephRBD and CephFS. Automate achieve Terraform and Ansible, Jenkins, and ArgoCD. Multi-cluster deployment via advanced cluster management, and with the advanced cluster security for securing workloads to and build and runtime. Our hybrid model spans on-prem and cloud, ARO and ARO on Azure, ROSA on AWS, enabling compliance, agility, and operational resilience. Here means, for example, they will ask if you want to deploy a cluster on public cloud. Public cloud means here you can go to Azure and ROSA. So when you're going to deploy the OpenShift cluster into the public cloud, you have to use the IPS method. IPA method. Method means installer user profile infrastructure. And see here we can see the different bit difference actually. See, if you know, if you are familiar with AWS, how OCP and AWS services will, like if you compare, just you can understand. Like for example, if you not understand OVN architecture, just you can go through the comparison document. Now see OCP at the AWS Overview comparison guide, just you can understand easily. See, let's say for example, here the Kubernetes platform, Red Hat on-prem and here the people are using Amazon Web Services for the public cloud. This one here that can support on-prem and public. So here and core components like CI/CD security on-prem here infrastructure as a code, platform as a service, and software as a service. and compute storage and networking DevOps tools. So like that only